Hello friends, neighbors, John your whiskey neighbor here. Welcome down the Nook. Today is another Saturday and another chance to talk some ex-sherry or some sherried Scotch. This wasn't on my shelf and I was trying to clear out some ex-sherry, but then it went on a wicked deal nearby and I had to bring it home, and I generally like Tamdhu. So today I want to review and talk about Tamdhu 12. So, this is a nice Speyside single malt. It spent all its life in a variety of different ex-sherry casks, and it is natural color. So if you have a little Tamdhu or any, a Speyside 12, a little ex-sherry in there, while you pour a dram, and when we come back, we'll talk Tamdhu 12 Speyside Scotch. 3, 4. Thanks for coming back. As I was saying in the intro, I didn't actually have this when I was clearing the shelf of sherried Scotch, but Tamdhu, I enjoyed their 10. I really enjoy the cask strength, which I'll do a little comparison to later on. But this Tamdhu 12, it's 43%. It's lived its whole life in ex-sherry, ex-Oloroso sherry, and it is natural color. And what a beautiful bottle. I just love the presentation. I think it's so classy. And the box this comes in, tasting notes and whatnot. I really think this is a nice bottle to have on the shelf just because it looks good. But in the end, I'm not buying a decanter, I'm buying a Scotch. So let's see, this Tamdhu 12, natural color, which is great, 43%. I don't know how well color works down here, but it's not as dark as you'd think for a 12-year-old only in sherry. And it says, though, natural color, which is wonderful, but it doesn't say anywhere on the box if it's chill filtered or not. But most reviewers have found a little more information than I could. I couldn't find it officially that say it is unchill filtered. So, if it's non-chill and natural color, that's pretty good. 43%. That's enough preview. Why don't we talk a little bit about this Scotch? I like this nose. It is, light fruits, orchard fruits, but it's already got a little bit of like nutty, crushed walnut, gentle spicing. Maybe it's a little bit floral. It's not overly floral, but there's a little bit going on. Some nice vanilla, and a little bit of citrus. Really mild at this point. Really like a little bit of a mellow orange. Yep, there's a little bit of red fruits, maybe some raspberry, a little bit of berry in there. So there is some red fruits, some berry, but I get almost more orchard fruiting up front, and then it kind of like it relaxes into some spice palette and then some red fruits. Well, let's give it a try. Sláinte. I like the taste of this Scotch. It is a little bit creamy. More of that orange comes out. The cut fruits fade away. A little bit more dried fruits. Nice malt. And that spicing. Now we're playing into the finish already, and I should take another sip for that. But a gentle spicing comes up on this pretty quick for me. Let's try it again. In the palate, the fruiting is ripe. I think I said dried fruit the first time, but what I mean is it's more matured fruit. So maybe if I go between, is it leathered? Is it ripe? What kind of fruit is this? The flavor notes, they say banana. And so now that's in my mind. Without seeing those notes, I don't think I'd get banana on this, but I would get that ripe, older fruits, some drying, but not like tannic drying, not leather drying. I don't mean like that. I just mean that just older, more mature fruits, and certainly some nice Christmas cake spicing, some gingers in there, little bit of cooked down cinnamon bun, cinnamon types of spices. This is a really nice Scotch, and it's a fully sherry influenced Scotch. It's there on the nose, it carries through, it's got a little bit of that drying oak finish going on, but it's not the only note for me in this Scotch, which is why I actually really like this 12-year-old. It's not, what we call, I would suggest, a sherry bomb. It's on that edge. It's certainly lots of sherry, and I think, I would put this, I wish I had a Glendronach 12 open. I don't. I'd love to shoot it against that because I feel it plays in that, Glendronach 12. Glenfarclas 12 for me actually has a little more sulfur forward sherry, and I would say it's more sherry than this. Glenrothes, I would say the Glenrothes 12, that has a little more vanilla. But anyways, it really does play in a lot of the Chevy influenced 12-year-olds, and I like it. I like it a fair amount. Easily given this 3 3/4 stars, and could give it higher on a better day. But no regrets picking this up. Fantastic value in my market, which is surprising. And at the quality of Scotch it is, it's the kind of thing that I should have bought a couple more bottles. Okay, I just actually talked to you guys about Edradour, so I won't go deep into it. But I thought I should compare it because it really is, this price range. And it is also natural color, but only 10 years. And I think it's quite dramatic when you think both of these are natural color. The lighter one is 12 years in oak, and Edradour is only 10 years in oak. So just very quickly, as I said, I just talked with you. This is really significant more sherry on there. This has become lighter, nuttier, a little more orange, almost like a marmalade on this. This now is playing in some dark fruits, some figs, some cherry. Try it on the palate, Sancha. It's interesting in the palate. This is a little lighter, a little more sprightly. Okay, now some spicing is coming back. But just when it first is, I would say that the palate is a little bit thicker, almost like a richer mouthfeel with the Tamdhu 12. Oh, nice finish on here. This is, Edradour is just a fantastic Scotch, and I'm pretty sure I gave it a 4 stars, and I can live with that it's probably a little bit better than the Tamdhu. But in this moment, the palate of the Tamdhu actually shines. Now coming back to it, it is a little more husk nut malt grain that I'm getting in there, which is quite interesting because the fruit, there is darker, thicker fruits coming out of the Edradour. Okay, mostly because I have a Tamdhu in front of me. It gave me an excuse to pull out this Tamdhu batch strength before it's done. I have talked to you a lot about the Tamdhu batch strength, but it is, non-chill filtered, natural color. And I think we're pushing 60, what is it, 59.8%. So this is certainly a Scotch and a half. Oh, it's so much richer. Now, of course, this is a ton more alcohol, but it is just richer, thicker. We're definitely into fig, date. Still getting some of that kind of that nut and orange that I was getting in the 12-year-old on the palate. So at you. I would need a little bit of water on it to make it a bit more drinkable, because right now it's a little hot, but it's so good. It's so rich and thick, and still, now that I've had it close to the 12, I'm impressed with how many of the flavor notes that I've been getting in here, roasted pecans, orange, I talked about that, and a little bit of a creamy nature, darker fruits. This has darker fruits than the Tamdhu 12, but this 12, what a good Scotch. And if you haven't had this batch strength, you got to go run it down. I just really, really love it. Thanks for joining me here. Hopefully I didn't wander too much or too long for you. If in your market the Tamdhu 12 is a decent buy, like for me it was less than Edradour, I would buy that all day long. It's just a really great Scotch to consider. Thanks for joining me down here. Hope you guys have just a fantastic week. Take care.